How's it going, class? Mr. Strable here again. Today we are going to be going over how to solve equations. So remember, an equation is a scale. It stays balanced. So both sides are equal to each other, even though it doesn't look like it. So we're going to talk about how we solve it and show that each side is equal and figure out what that missing number is, figure out what the variable is. So I have 4 examples up behind me. Some of these examples, 2 in fact, are from the review you are about to do. So it's important you pay attention. All right, and 2 are just examples to help you with the other operations that I don't give you the exact examples for. So let's start off with the first one. We have x plus 7 equals 22. So to solve an equation, you got to do the opposite operation. So you ask yourself, what operation was given? Addition. So the opposite is subtraction. So we have to subtract. So we got to get that x by itself. So to get the x by itself, we have to get rid of the 7. So to get rid of it, we have to subtract. 7 minus 7 is 0. Cancel that. We're left with the x by itself. But remember, like I said, a balance equation is a balance. So we have to do the same thing to both sides. So if we subtract 7 from the one side, we have to do it to the other. So then we ask ourselves, 22 minus 7, 15. And if we wanted to, we can check each of these answers by taking the answer and plugging it back to the original problem. So let's do that for this one, and then the rest of them won't take your time up for that. So we plug it in, we plug the 15 plus 7 equals 22, and if it checks out, 15 plus 7 is 22. That means we did it correct. If you did something wrong, you'd be able to tell. All right, so let's look at the next example. We have p minus 11 equals negative 2. So again, we have to do the opposite operation. So the opposite of subtraction is addition. So instead of subtracting by 11, we add 11. All right, because if you have a minus 11 and you add 11 to it, it cancels out, brings it to 0. We're left with p equals, and remember, we have to do it to both sides. So negative 2 plus 11 is going to equal. Next problem we have is 2x equals 16. So right away, that doesn't look like there's an operation there, but remember, a number directly in front of a variable shows multiplication. So this is multiplication, so the opposite, we have to divide. Divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 times x is just going to be x, so we can cross out the 2. 16 divided by 2 is 8. The last problem we have up here is z over 11 equals negative 5. So remember, a fraction is a division problem. So the opposite of division, multiplication. Times by 11 times 11. The 2 11s are going to cancel out on this side. And then negative 5 times 11 is negative 55, because a negative times a positive is a negative. All right, so that's how we solve equations. There's one last thing we have to talk about to help you with your review, and that's how to model the problems. So I'm going to do one quick problem. So when we model them, there's multiple ways they can show it. They can show it as an actual balance, as an actual scale, or they can show it a little less, a little more abstract, where they just have blocks. So all right, so they can show a problem like that, and they'll typically tell you that the blocks are either positive or negative. So in this case, all our blocks are going to be positive. So you just got to look carefully though. So we ask ourselves, we have this long block that represents our variable x, and each of these individual small blocks equals 1. So you can do this in many different ways. You can write out the sentence, x plus 2, because we have x, then we have 2, so we have them together, equals 4. And you could solve it that way. Or you can solve it where you ask yourself, if these are equal, and I know I have 2 small blocks, that means these 2 small blocks and these 2 small blocks cancel each other out to see what's left over for that x to equal to, which is 2. All right? So that's how you do it with modeling. If you ever have a problem that has more than just one x, that's going to show multiplication. All right. But if you have only one x, it's going to be an addition problem for you to solve. All right. So do the review on the Google Forms that you can find the link below the checkup. If you have any questions, feel free to email me and I'll get to you and I'll help you out. Okay. All right. Take care.